Well, undoubtedly, the secret to life is balance and harmony. If you want to live life to its fullest and feel the best, and I could say in today's modern society that is high revved and everything's electronic, there's too much communications, there's too many people that are always hooked up to something at all times. You see this all the time when people are walking the street and they're engrossed in their cell phone while they're walking across the street. So a lot of times people want to escape from reality. They want to get away from the the day-to-day modern society. Sometimes they go to the mountains. That's one thing. Sometimes people just like to drink, take some drugs, or do some things like that. I mean, they just go out and they just get crazy because they want to escape from the day-to-day life. But really what they're trying to do is balance their day-to-day life, and I'm actually going to put forth a suggestion using colors. It may be a little bit of a outside the realm of normal thinking type of concept, but let me put it this way. Colors are actually frequencies. All colors are involve a certain wavelength. When we see a color, basically what we see is what is being reflected back to us. Like if the object appears to be red, what we're seeing is actually the only color that the object does not absorb. So, but when we're seeing something with our eyes, it's actually something that we're receiving a frequency into the brain. It's affecting our psyche. It's also affecting our health and our balance. I think it's also something that's very interesting that scientists will say that people who live closer to the equator have less incidence of disease and less health problems, whether it be heart disease, high blood pressure, MS, multiple sclerosis, or cancer, or whatever it is. They'll have less instances of these diseases the closer to the equator they are. The further they get away from the equator, whether they go north or south, further from the equator, the more instances of diseases they'll have, whether it be cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, or whatever, strokes or whatever they have. But let me put it to you this way. They will sometimes theorize that it's vitamin D that is actually the reason why, because they're not getting enough vitamin D, and maybe that's part of the reason. But it may be more than that. It may be the frequencies that we receive from the light of the natural lights of the sun is what's really, helping people's overall health. Now, I know a lot of times when people are overstressed in daily life, they partake in drugs and some things, and a lot of times people smoke weed. I don't smoke any weed, but say they do or whatever, and that's cool. It's somewhat of an escape. It's something to relax. It's something to balance. But I'm going to put forth something else that's a little bit different, and actually using colors, and actually one specific color, because each color of the spectrum of visible light spectrum that we see has its own frequency and actually has its own types of energy. The color blue is actually associated with bio-north, or the, I'm showing a chart here. Maybe it's a little confusing, and maybe you never heard of this, but I'm sure you heard of like north and south magnetic poles on a magnet. Now, actually, the North Pole on the Earth is, it sounds like I'm changing subjects, but I'm not really, because it's all interrelated, believe it or not. The North Pole on the Earth is actually south magnetized. It's considered negative magnetic energy. That's the one that's usually more soothing, more healing, more sedating. What the people in the magnetic therapy world will refer to as the polar energy that's found on a geographic north as bio-north, whereas other people who are basically navigators, when they're looking at the compass needle, they'll refer to it as magnetic south. Now, hopefully I didn't lose people on this, but what I'm getting at is bio-north has always been noted as the magnetic energy that is associated with healing, soothing, balancing excessive energies and tensions, alkalizing, and sedating. Also, what's associated with that type of energy is the color blue. The color blue. And actually, you probably configure this. The color red is actually the opposite. The color red is associated with stimulation. And actually, that's probably one of the problems we have in the modern society, that we were actually overstimulated from all these different things that are coming at us from different ways. Like, in other words, you have various deadlines, you have timetables. I mean, every time you even travel someplace, you got to be, obeying all the traffic laws. You got schedules to meet. You got bills to pay. You got different things that are going on in your life that's all structured. As a matter of fact, you're constantly being stimulated by outside forces. And actually, even in our daily life with electronic, wireless communications and things, we're being subjected to a number of things that are actually probably not good for our physiology, and including the processed type foods that we have that are irradiated before they get to the market, so they get longer shelf life. So a lot of times there's a lot of things that are external influences on the body that are creating havoc, and it's overstimulating the body in various ways, and the body's trying to react to it. So a lot of times people try to cope with this by, drinking or taking some drugs here or there or whatever they do, and just doing some crazy stuff. But I'm going to tell you that probably the color blue could be something that could probably have a very good psychological benefit. As a matter of fact, the Japanese, I think it's the Japanese, have installed blue lights along their subway system, and they found that there's much less incidents of people trying to commit suicides on the tracks. And it's a matter of how you actually perceive yourself. As I'm showing the kitty cat here looking in the mirror, and the kitty cat sees the lion looking back at him. It matters most is how you see yourself. And, sometimes people are trying to grasp for some things that are just impossible because of advertisements and things that are the way you're supposed to be and what's shown in the movies. And you just can't be yourself. You just can't be happy with yourself. So it's like overstimulation. That's really what I'm saying. In our society, we have overstimulation. So, again, the blue is associated with, actually, if you want to look at it this way, there is a rhyme and a method to the madness, if you want to call it that way, because sometimes if people heard this for the first time, they're probably wondering what I'm talking about with magnetic energies. But all this type of information is all related. The bio-north is actually considered sedating, calming, soothing, negative energies, but not negative in a bad sense, but actually in a soothing sense. Sometimes it's not sometimes, it's actually been noted to increase your awareness. Now, I showed the picture of the cat before. Actually, I have my cats by the windowsills. They'll sleep on the bio-north, not magnetic north, but the bio-north energies of neodymium magnets on the windowsills. And I can tell you that my cats are some very aware cats and very smart. It actually makes the animals more perceptive and intelligent. It's a type of energy that's soothing and calming. And that is actually why this graphic pictorial display of the Earth showing the magnetic energies, they're showing blue as coming from the North Pole, which is bio-north, or actually magnetic south. It's magnetized south, but it's called bio-north because it's the magnetism found on the North Pole. But it's associated with also the same type of energies that are associated with the color blue. Don't think of a color as a color in a normal sense, as like something you just see, oh, it's a color. Actually, a color, it represents a frequency and a certain wavelength, and it does affect our psyche, it does affect our physiology. And it could provide balance to what we are experiencing in the modern world, where we have too much outside stimulation from different things. When you're living in nature, as we have been for most of the humankind's existence, we had balance before. We would see the sunset. We would see the greenery of the forest. Green is actually neither a stimulating or a sedating color. It's actually no neutral color. That's what green is actually associated with. But blue is considered like a sedating color. And actually, like I said, we need some of these blue energies to balance out what we actually happens to us in our modern world. A lot of times people are looking for physical perfection. Sometimes they can't achieve that. And, that's another type of stress. Actually, we see a lot of times the ads that are in papers, how a woman should be and a woman's physique should be, and actually everything is photos retouched and all that type of stuff. But, it's a matter of, sometimes we're always put to trying to meet these goals that we can't possibly meet. And people are, even if they don't meet these goals and they say they don't care about those goals, in the back of their mind, it's always presents some type of stress. So blue energies can actually help with that. Believe it or not, there's something else that I could tell you that is, you might think it's a little bit crazy, but if they've experimented with this, I could tell you it's not really like a hard science, but let me say some researchers have experimented with this, that if you drink water in a blue cup, where it's a blue tinted cup where the light goes through it, the light is actually filtered like a blue light that actually treats the water, and it receives a type of energy. You might want to try it because what I'm telling you is basically cost-free. Like, I'm not selling blue cups. What it is a blue cup that is actually tinted blue where the light shines through it, so the light shines through the blue and it puts a blue light into the water. But don't think of it as just a blue color. What it's actually doing is bringing a certain frequency into the water, and there are some people that have said that that has actually helped with depression, with people feeling a little bit better, giving them a little more balance. And probably one of the problems we have in our society today is we just have too much overstimulation, because we are constantly attached to, well, you can see people are attached to the cell phone, they're attached to the computer, they're attached to, timetables, they're attached to a structured, systematic way they have to live at all times. And a lot of times they try to get into escapes that are not healthy for them. And maybe one of the best ways to try to get into an escape or to balance out the body with something, with energies that are sedating, is just to use color therapy. And the color blue would probably be the one to really use the most. It's not that you want to use it 24 hours a day, but some of it probably would be a very smart idea. And, it's something that I think that it's cost-free. I mean, it could involve, like, just having a blue light bulb in one part of the house or something where you're staying or where you're at, and just turning it on once in a while that it's in a lamp. And it could be off in a corner, but you see that out of the corner of your eye. And it's something where it's actually affecting your psyche and giving you some sedating benefits. So I'm just putting this forth as a type of, it's not a revolutionary new idea. It's actually been around for a long time. Color light therapy has been around a long time. But it's been around in the 1800s. It's been called quackery. But I think there is something to it, because light is actually frequency, and frequency does affect our physiology. And I could definitely tell you that the color blue is sedating, and it's probably something that we need in our society that is overstimulated. And, you're looking at some of the problems that people have where they try to escape. They just want that escape from all the hardships of what's not necessarily the hardships, but just getting out and breaking the routine, and they get into some things that are actually very unhealthy. And, it just might be a matter of just applying some kind of light once in a while to get the same kind of benefit, that same type of balance, that same type of escape. Basically not an escape, but basically a balance. Back before we had modern society, people would see the sunsets, people would see the sunrises, people would see the vegetations, people would see the lakes and the oceans, people would feel the breezes. People would be connected to the earth, but because they would feel they wouldn't actually feel it, but they would actually be getting the benefits of the human earth frequencies coming through the soles of their feet. So it's a matter of we are no longer attached to these type of things. So, one of the solutions might be some color light therapy, And I gotta tell you, you don't need to spend major bucks on this stuff. I mean, it could just be. I think you don't really need to use the whole spectrum. Most people probably just need the color blue because we're overstimulated, and that's really what the problem is in society. And if you do want to get into the entire thing with color light therapy and you want to try it out, some of the cheapest things I could tell you is to avoid any vendor that's selling color light therapy, because what they happen to do is they will sell these multicolored lights and filters, and if they put the name color light therapy on it, it just jacked the price way up. As a matter of fact, you can go from like maybe $25 to $50 and get LED electronic remote control bulbs that you can change the color to light and try some color light therapy. So if you just want to not be limited to the color blue and you want to try, magneta, yellow, orange, or green, or whatever else is in the color light therapy spectrums, and experiment with it, you can for under $50. And you can look anywhere on Google stores or Amazon or eBay and see, where they sell these type of things, where there's multicolored changing LED lights for under $50. And if it doesn't work for you, you still have a neat multicolored changing LED light for under $50 that'll last you for mega hours more than an incandescent bulb. So anyway, I just want to put this out because I think it's something that like society doesn't really think about. They're always just kind of freaking trying to escape. It's like, oh, let's have fun. Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's this. It's really what they're trying to do is because there's just too much pressure in society. There's too much structure. There's too much garbage going on. There's too much overstimulation. And they're trying to just let loose and find that balance. It's not even a matter, they use the word fun, but it's actually they're trying to find that balance. And sometimes some of those things can be pretty self-destructive, what people do too. So I'm just telling you that this might be a pretty cool idea to try this out. Color light therapy, but especially in modern day society, probably more of a concentration on the color blue to find balance. And again, the color blue is actually associated with the bio-north magnetic energies. And actually, when you're looking at what the people in the magnetic therapy world use almost 98% of the time, or say roughly 98% of the time, they almost always use bio-north magnetic energy. That is not this. That is actually what is called the magnetic field that is found at the North Pole. It's actually magnetized south, but the magnetic therapy people call it bio-north because it's a type of energy that's found on a physical geographic North Pole. But that is also associated with the color blue. It's soothing, it's healing, it balances out where you're overstimulated, it's alkalizing, that type of thing. So it might be a smart thing to try in an overly stimulated modern society where people are just too stressed out for too much bullshit, too much being connected to the web, too much being connected to their cell phone, too much being connected to every damn thing in the world. And it's not like you're going to run over to the beach every day and get some blue ocean waves to heal yourself. So you might want to try some color light therapy. And that could be very cheap. I mean, as far as what a bulb can cost you, under $1. And if you want to get the full spectrum kit, like I said, I would recommend not getting a color light therapy kit, but just getting an LED bulb that is remote controlled with Bluetooth technology for under $50 that could do every color there is. As long as, it's like I said, the same exact thing is out there on the cheap, as long as it's not labeled color light therapy. As soon as the vendor labels it color light therapy, it seems they multiply the price by 5 or 10. So, I'm not selling you anything. I'm just trying to give you some simple, cheap advice. And actually, to tell you the truth, I drink all my drinks through a blue tinted glass. and it actually, the glass sits on a bio-north, which is magnetic south. It means the north, the type of magnetic north that is found on the North Pole, and that glass always sits on that type of magnetism. I've always been doing this for the last couple of years. You know, I don't know how freaking great it is or not, but I can tell you I feel fine. I don't feel stressed out. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs or anything like that. And I don't feel like I have any need to, and I actually feel pretty chill. So I don't know if it's working or if that's just me, but I figure this is one of the cheapest things I could tell people, you know, that you might want to try. If it doesn't work out for you, the worst you're going to lose is maybe $1 for a light bulb or something. So, and maybe 50 cents for a translucent cup, glass or whatever, or $1 at the dollar store. So anyway, you might want to try this. I think there's more to it than you think, because again, light is not exactly what you think of it as in a normal sense. It actually is a frequency. It does affect our physiology. It does affect our psyche. And actually, blue light has been known to actually help cure depression. You might say it's sedating, but it helps. And I guess depression is from being overstimulated or something. I'm not really a psychologist, but I can tell you I've heard that and I've read that blue light can help with depression. So there's more to it than you think. And to me, it's almost like a medicine, but then again, it's not a medicine. And I don't think the people that are professional healers or professional, people that are in the medical world will tell you this, because it's dirt cheap. But I'm not telling you it's a cure, but it's something you might want to try. And it doesn't even necessarily mean you have to have something wrong with you. It could just be something that's great to help you find balance in your life. And so, hardly any cost, worth a try. And I practice what I preach. I feel fine. I don't feel like I have any problems or anything like that. But I'm just telling you that maybe this is why. But then again, I don't know. I think there's something to this, actually, far beyond what the conventional people would tell you. There's probably really something to this.